President also getting some attention when he talked to CNN's Jake Tapper earlier today about some of his first-term accomplishments versus his campaign promises. Remember this from 2008?
This was the moment when the rise of the oceans began to slow and our planet began to heal.
So the president was questioned about that moment and there's been diminished expectations. Here's that exchange.
I remember during the campaign when you talked about your presidency being a moment when the rise of the oceans would slow and the nation, the world, would heal. And now you're talking about pen and phone and executive orders and executive actions. Do you think you were naive back then, or have you recalibrated your expectations and your ambitions?
Well, part of it is we got a lot of that stuff done.
Well, Mark Thiessen is a columnist for the Washington Post and a fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. And, you know, that raised some eyebrows, Mark, because did the rise of the ocean stop? You know, I mean, he had a lot of promises in there.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect epitaph for the Obama presidency. He promised to stop the rise of the oceans, and he couldn't launch a website. I mean, there it is in a nutshell. I think people will not look back at the Obama presidency as the moment when the rise of the oceans slowed, but they will look back at it as the moment when the rise in support for big government slowed. I mean, if you look at his big government solutions, the reason he's playing small ball with all these executive orders right now is because no one trusts him to do anything big. His big government stimulus failed to fix the economy. 68% of Americans say that the economy is either stagnant or we're worse off than we were when Barack Obama took office. And Obamacare is a disaster. So when you have a spectacular failure like Obamacare, people look at that and say, I'm not going to trust this guy when he proposes big solutions to anything else. So it's very hard to rally the country.
You look at that promise. He said, this is the moment we would begin to provide care for the sick. Well, Obamacare did pass. Good jobs to the jobless. Well, he says the unemployment rate has decreased. The rise of the oceans began to slow. Well, greenhouse, gas emissions, I guess he's regulated those. When we ended a war, he can check that one. Secured our nation, questionable, and restored our image as the last best hope on earth.
Yeah, this is a quote about the Obama economy. Average wages have barely budged. Inequality has deepened. Upward mobility has stalled. Too many Americans are working more than ever just to get by, and too many still aren't working at all. Obama in his own State of the Union address describing the Obama economy after 5 years of his economic stewardship. How is that an achievement? I mean, the big achievement of the Obama administration, quite frankly, it was an unintentional one, which is that people have lost trust in big government. The Gallup poll shows 72% of Americans think that big government is the biggest threat to the country, including a majority of Democrats. So for years to come now, when liberal politicians step forward with a big government solution to some problem, Republicans are going to respond by saying it's just another Obamacare, and that's going to be a deadly retort.
So, I mean, he promised some spectacular achievements.
And now he's issuing executive orders, raising the minimum wage for federal contracts. You know, he's a big achievement. I mean, he's reduced. He's got a pen. But you know who else has a pen? His successor. Executive orders can be repealed by the stroke of a pen by your successor.
Not just he and her successor. Thanks,
I've got one too.
Mark. Good to see you.